Lúc này là 9 giờ 39 phút sáng thứ Bảy, ngày 28 tây tháng 3 năm 2026. Đây, đang có nắng nha, giờ quay nè. Ấy, rồi cô bấm lên hát, nghe hát.
Don't say it like a question. Don't hold it up to the light to check if it still holds the way I used to do in the younger, lesser nights.
Đó, đó, chú làm nắng nó ngồi trước nó sáng lên đó. Hồi nãy chụp hình nó thấy nên quay thử coi nó làm sao. Đức Chúa ơi, cho con ghi được đi Đức Chúa. Hồi nãy con nhìn thấy.
I don't need a grand occasion. I don't need the perfect words. I just know what I know, the way you know the things that live too deep to ever be disturbed. You and me always, not as a wish but as a fact I care. You and me always, light enough to hold, too heavy to misplace or bear. I've stopped asking if this lasts. I've stopped looking for the seams. You and me always is the simplest and most certain thing I've ever known. You and me.
Đó, chú giờ đèn sáng.
Seen a love that burns so bright it blinds the ones inside. Love that makes such noise you can't hear anything beside. And I've seen what happens when that kind of fire finally runs out of air. The silence that it leaves, the wreckage and the stare of two people standing in the ashes of a thing that was so loud they mistook the volume for the meaning. What we have is different. What we have is slow and short, like a river that has found its way into the sea and doesn't need to rush anymore, because it knows where it is going, because it has always known. No announcement needed, no performance for the room, just two people who have quietly decided that forever stops right now and doesn't ever stop. You and me always, through the unremarkable and the extraordinary. You and me always, through the ordinary way of January, through the summers and the slow years, through whatever time allows. You and me always, not written in a church but carved into the way we face the world side by side. You and me always. Let me tell you what always means. When it isn't spoken in a rush, it means that in a room full of options I would find you without looking. It means that in a life full of roads, everyone I choose would have you at the end of it. that I have stopped imagining futures that don't include your face. Not because I've given up my freedom or myself, but because I am most free, most fully myself, most alive to all of it. When you are there, always isn't a cage, it's a compass. It doesn't point away from everything else. It points toward the one thing that makes everything else worth pointing toward. You are that thing, you have always been that thing, and I am done being subtle about it. I am done holding it at a comfortable distance where it can't cost me anything. It costs me everything, and I pay it gladly every single morning without looking at the price. You and me always sit by a man who means it to his marrow. You and me always, the widest word I know and still too narrow to hold everything that you and me actually means to me. On this particular night, in this particular life that I will choose again, with full information every time. You and me always, no thunder, no fanfare, no witnesses are required, just the two of us knowing. You and me always, you and me always. Perfecto. El miedo más honesto de un hombre que ama de verdad. Stay by my side. I know I'm not the easiest. I know I close sometimes. I know there are versions of me that are difficult to find. Behind the walls I've built before I knew
Đó,
that you would
làm
come.
cho sáng
Before
lên.
I had a reason to stop all this running from the things I feel. From the weight of being alone. I spent so long convincing myself that I was fine alone. And then you came, quietly dismantled every argument I had for not needing anyone, for not needing this, for not needing you as badly as I do. And I thought of you deciding that I'm too much or not enough, or somewhere in between that doesn't fit what you were looking for. Is the only thing that frightens me more than anything I've ever faced before. Stay by my side, not because it's always gonna be easy. Stay by my side through the versions of me that are harder to believe in. I know I'll disappoint you sometimes. I know I'll get it wrong, but I will spend my whole life trying if you'll only stay by my side, please. Stay by my side. I've watched people leave before I stood at enough doorways. Watched some people choose the road that didn't go through me, and I learned to make it mean nothing. Learn to shrug and carry on. Learn to fill the empty spaces with the kind of music that keeps you from the song that plays when it goes quiet. When the performance finally ends. When it's just you and the absence of the ones who didn't stay, who couldn't stay, who wouldn't stay. And I made peace with most of it I have, but you would can I survive? So here I am, without the composure, without the practiced indifference, without the armor. I've spent a lifetime polishing to a shine, just asking from the most unguarded place. I won't stay by my side. I'm not asking you to fix me. Stay by my side. I'm asking you to witness me. The broken and the healing, the certain and the lost. I know that staying has a price. I know that love is cost, but I will pay it back in full in every way I know how. Just stay, stay by my side.
Đó, chú làm đèn ánh sáng, ngồi trời sáng ra, ánh sáng mặt trời á.
Let me tell you what I'm afraid of. Since we're being honest here, I'm not afraid of failure. I'm not afraid of pain. I'm not afraid of the hard.
Đó, chú làm cho nó sáng á. Mặt trời ngồi trước nó sáng vô á.
I'm afraid of ordinary morning with no one on the other side. I'm afraid of all the things I want to tell you with nowhere for those things to go, nowhere to arrive. I'm afraid of becoming good at absence, the way I was before you showed me what presence actually feels like from the inside. I'm afraid of going back to the version of myself who had convinced himself that he was home when he was only very practiced at pretending that the empty space inside his chest was something he had chosen, not something he had set for. You fill that space without trying, without asking permission, without knowing what you've done. And I cannot, I will not pretend that I could just unfill it if you left. Stay by my side. I've never asked for anything like this. Stay by my side. I have never been this open or dishonest or this terrified of what the answer is. I know I'm asking much. I know it isn't simple, but neither is this love. And neither am I, and neither are you. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the ones worth staying for are never simple, never easy, never cheap. Stay by my side from someone who has never asked for anything. Stay, please stay by my side.
Bên em vừa về một lô nồi lẩu, phải nói là hàng to đẹp đến 10 người ăn luôn mọi người ạ. Nó vừa là nồi lẩu vừa là nồi đan.
Try to write this down for 100 different ways. Try to find the words that hold the weight of all my days. Since the moment everything rearranged itself around the fact of you existing in my world, making sound. Where there was silence making color, where there was only gray. I tried to write this and I failed until today. Because some things are too large for any sentence I could build. Some things live below the language, in the place that's never filled by anything but truth, raw and unadorned. So here it is, the truest thing this man has ever formed. Not the most elegant, not the most poetic, just the most honest I have ever been about anything in my entire life. The love of my life, not a title that I give away lightly. The love of my life, the words feel almost too small to hold you rightly, but they're the best that language has to offer me tonight, and I will say them with everything I am. You are the love of my life, the great love, the real love, the one that changed the shape of everything. The love of my life, that's what you are, love of my life. I have done things I am proud of, built things worth the building, lived through nights I wasn't sure would end up worth the living. I have stood in rooms that felt like they were made for me, in rooms that felt like exile. I have been lost thoroughly and found, and lost again and found in different ways, but nothing in the catalog of all my nights and days compares to what it feels like to be loved by you and to love you back with everything I have without holding anything back. That's enough for me. The fullness that completes surrender to something larger than my own protection, than my careful, than my tender management of risk. You made risk feel like the only honest option, and I took it with both hands, with both eyes open, with my whole heart offered forward, like a man who finally understood what hearts were made for. The love of my life, I wanna say it where the whole world hears. The love of my life, burned across 1,000 days and tears and laughter, and the fights we found our way back from, and the mornings after where we chose each other in the sober light of day. You are not just what I feel, you are what I mean when I say I live. I truly live, love of my life. Without question, love of my life. Let me try to tell you what it means to have a love like this inside one life. It means that every hard thing had a reason, even when the reason wasn't visible yet. It means that every version of yourself you had to bury was preparation for the man who was worthy of this. It means that all the roads that seemed like wrong turns were the only roads that led here, to this room, to this person, to this specific, irreplaceable, unrepeatable love. I am not a man who believes that everything happens for a reason, but I believe that you happened, and I happened, and we happened, and that is enough reason for everything that came before. You are the argument that makes the whole story make sense. The final chapter that reframes every chapter that preceded in the best possible way. You are why I am glad I live this particular life and not some other one. The love of my life, I will spend the rest of it making sure you know. The love of my life, you are every seed that I have ever sown. Come to bloom, come to fruit, come to something so much more than I deserved or dared or dreamed. You are the answered prayer of a man who had stopped praying. You are the great love that great loves in books and songs were always pointing toward. The love of my life, there will never be another word that carries more of me than this one. Love of my life.
Cho hết rồi. Đây bác chúa đây.